Bepper, that is a statue of Greeley. He's my boy. I love him very much. And you are watching one of my videos. Let's get into it. So today, guys, we are going to be talking about stereotypes. Now, if you don't know what a stereotype is, the dictionary definition is a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. Now, if you have no idea what that means whatsoever, then let me kind of simplify it for you. It's kind of like a myth about a certain group of people. So, for example, one stereotype is that everyone who plays Animaljam is a furry. So if you don't know what a furry is, it's basically somebody who creates a character that's an animal and they really identify with it. And sometimes they'll even create costumes called fursuits that they dress up in to like feel more like that character. And there's conventions for it and like everything. And so a lot of people think that people who play Animaljam are just automatically furries, which isn't true. But I see where they're coming from because I mean people on Animaljam, you know, they create characters and they like animals and they play a game about animals. And even if one of these stereotypes is true for some people, it's not true for every single person in the group. If you still don't understand stereotypes, by the end of this video, you probably should. I feel like I'm being educational right now. Look at me go. I'm teaching about stereotypes. By the way, kids, you never want to stereotype people. Each person is their own individual person, and even if they're a part of some larger group, for example, I'm part of the large group of Animaljammers out there, that doesn't mean I represent every single Animaljammer out there, and every single Animaljammer out there doesn't represent me. So you always want to get to know a person before you start making judgments on them, because that, my friend, is being good. Now let's start off with the first stereotype, or I guess it's the second since I already mentioned the first one is all Animaljammers being furries. So the second stereotype is that rare people only like rares, and that's the only reason they play the game. They don't care about anything else, they just want their rares. Now, let me tell you, this is completely false. I mean, take Wootmoo for example. He is probably one of the rarest players in the game. He has tons of rares, like way too many. I'm actually a pretty good friend of Wootmoo's, and I can say for a fact that he doesn't only care about his rares, he also cares about his friends as well. And we used to be really close back in the day, you know, way back when, maybe 2012 or 2013. And he by no means only cares about his rares. And I'm sure this is true for a lot of rare people out there. Actually, I'm a pretty rare jammer, I guess. I mean, I have 3 furry hats, I have no headdresses, but I also have 2 glitched rings, and I also have 2 beta hoods, but those aren't the only things I care about in this game. I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice to have them, and I would be lost without my furry hats considering they're literally like my children, okay? But by no means do I only care about my rare items. Rares over friends any day, am I right? I'm pretty sure almost everyone in this community agrees with that statement. Now you're gonna start to realize that a lot of stereotypes in this video have to do with being rare, being a member, or being a non-member. So with that being said, the next stereotype is that rare people are just the rudest people that you could ever meet. In fact, some of the nicest people I've ever met on this game are really rare, actually. My best friend, who used to go by the username Infinity Magic Hero is Back, had an orange beard. Now, if you only recently joined the game, then you probably have no idea what that means. Like, you're like, what? An orange beard? Like, why is that so special? Back in my day, those were the literal rarest items in the entire game. There were 2 of them. They were owned by Visual Effects and Infinity Magic Hero is Back. Infinity Magic Hero is Back is my best friend. We are still best friends to this day. 5 years later. We still talk, we still Skype, we're still like best of friends. And he was one of the rarest players in the entire game at a point. So I can say that this stereotype is definitely not true. It probably does apply to some people, like Northern King, if anyone remembers him. Oh my gosh, he was a piece of work. By the way, if you're a new player and you don't know who Northern King was, oh my gosh, let me tell you, I have a story for you. Basically, any OG jammer will remember this name, because Northern King was just kind of like infamous. And you know what he was famous for? Sitting and doing nothing. Yep, that's right, sitting and doing nothing. He would go to Alden, and he would go into Jam Township, and then he'd become his little lion and sleep right here every single day. And then he switched from Jam Township to Crystal Sands, and then he moved and he slept right here every day. And he wasn't the rarest jammer, but he was definitely kind of rare. I mean, he had a lot of spikes at the time, and that was really good. I mean, you gotta remember, this is back in the time when spikes were actually worth quite a bit because they hadn't come out in Adventures yet. Some people might remember him differently than I do, but all of my encounters with him were really just not the greatest. And by the way, this is the infamous lion that he would use to sleep every single day. Like, every day. Like, without fail. If you went there, he's there. Like, it's just like a thing. Like, you know how the flamingo is, like, permanently a part of Crystal Sands? Like, when you go to Crystal Sands, you expect to see the flamingo. That's what it was like, but with Northern King. Even at, like, 3 in the morning, you'd log on, and his character would just be, like, there. And it's like, why are you awake? Where are
your parents?
And the next stereotype, I think we're on number 4 now, is that all members are mean to non-members. Now, I'm sure that this actually does hold some truth to it. Because, you know, Animaljam, we do have a lot of younger kids playing, and they don't really understand the concept of being nice to one another yet. So they might think that they're better than a non-member and make fun of them or something like that. But for the majority of Animaljam, and I mean the majority, like almost any person I know on Animaljam anyway, actually every single person I know on Animaljam, is not mean to non-members. Or at least not in front of me, or as much as I've heard. The only instance I can actually think of when non-members are being, like, left out and left behind and kind of neglected is the pillow room. Yeah, the pillow room. Now, I don't know if you know this, guys, but I used to be a hardcore role player, and I would love to be adopted. And I'd always go into the pillow room, and there would always be people saying, adopt me, members only. Or, I'm looking to adopt a kid, members only. But that's really the only time I can actually think of non-members really being discriminated against for being non-members. Now, another stereotype is that Arctic wolves are all looking for Animaljam boyfriends and girlfriends. Now, on any given day, you could go to any server, really. Let's go to Alden. And there could be an Arctic wolf. There's one right now. And sometimes, just sometimes, they will be asking if anyone wants to be their Animaljam girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, hey, date me. I'm an Arctic wolf. You should date me. I see this quite frequently, but it's not just the Arctic wolves, okay? Not all Arctic wolves are thirsty people, alright? I'm sure that this little Arctic wolf is very sweet. I mean, they look nice. They just gave me a little smiley face. That's very nice, you know? I'm sure they're not looking for an Animaljam girlfriend or boyfriend. And to be fair, honestly, I see almost any animal searching for an Animaljam girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, it's not just specifically Arctic wolves. Like, several times I've gone into coral canyons and I've seen a tiger, a bunny, red pandas. It's not specifically Arctic wolves, okay? So yeah, not all Arctic wolves actually want to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. Because everyone actually wants to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. It's not specifically Arctic wolves. I mean, everyone is thirsty on Animaljam, but not just the Arctic wolves, okay? We don't gotta discriminate. So the final stereotype I'm going to be talking about tonight, and probably the most infuriating, is that if you have a rare, you probably scammed it from someone. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying there are a lot of scammers in Animaljam. There's a lot of people who used to scam in Animaljam, and there's a lot of people who get scammed on the daily. However, that does not mean that every single rare in the game ever was scammed. If you're in Crystal Sands one day and you see someone with a spiked collar, your first thought shouldn't automatically be that they scammed it. There are so many different ways to getting rares besides scamming, such as trading. You get it as a gift. Maybe it was a giveaway item. Maybe you won a contest. Maybe you got it in an adventure. Maybe you got it when it first came out and it just over time became rare. Maybe you got a glitched item, such as the magenta furry hat was a glitched item that came out briefly until it was patched, so it became really rare in just a really short amount of time. There was basically a glitch that made the magenta furries come out in stores as this specific color when they weren't supposed to be, and Animaljam patched it really quickly. I don't really remember the exact number because we don't really know the exact number. I believe it was somewhere around 100 or 70 or something like that. I could be completely wrong though, don't take my word for it. And because there were only about 100 of them, they were really quick to turn rare. So yes, even though some people do scam, and that is sometimes a way people get items, not everybody acquires their rares by scamming. I scammed about 4.5 years ago, and basically all of those items that I scammed turned unrare as the time went on. Like bow and arrows was a thing I used to scam. They're basically worth nothing now, unless you're talking about the neon bow. And that was not around 4.5 years ago. Actually, a lot of my rare items, excluding my furry hats, have been gifts. Such as both of my beta hoods were gifts from friends. I believe it was on my birthday. And I also believe that one of my glitched rings was from one of my buddies. All of my furry hats, however, I actually traded for using non-scammed items because, as I said, it was 4.5 years ago. And those are just a few of the Animaljam stereotypes, but I'm sure there are many, many, many more. Put them in the comment section down below if you know some. And anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Good. Bye. by the way, there's new merch coming soon. Get really excited. Woo! Merch. I'm so excited.